It's a Dark Souls 3 episode, and as such, word of warning. Now, there is footage of Dark Souls 3 in this video. I've been very selective, very careful with what I've put in. Most of it's literally the very first starting area of the game. I mean, like, the starting area. So, there isn't really any major spoilers to worry about. I will go through what kind of content is in there. There's the starting area, there's a smidgen of the very first boss, I'm talking like the starter boss of the game, which people have seen already anyway. There's a tiny bit of the Firelink Shrine, and beyond that, literally like the first balcony of the game's main big area. Beyond that, the main gameplay area. Just the first balcony. Now, I've got plenty of late game footage, and I'm under no embargo, so I could have posted all sorts of shit. And I kinda do want to do that, because I'd really like to stick it to Namco, but I care about you, the people at home watching. And that's why I'm doing you this solid and looking out for you, because I care. Plus, I also don't want to piss off Dark Souls fans 2 weeks in a row. Sorry, I just don't have time to read your novella-length emails. Sorry. Love your passion, but I just ain't got time. Dark Souls 3 is out now in Japan, having released on March 24th, well ahead of the rest of the world's April 12th launch day. In addition, reviewers and streamers were given advance copies and allowed to produce video footage of the game, littering the internet with so much Dark Souls content it's hard to avoid. While those who received early code are embargoed and can only post limited amounts of footage, so I've heard, they never officially gave me the copy I've got, English-speaking audiences discovered they can get a fully localized version of the game on Xbox One by jumping through a few simple hoops, and have done so to enjoy the game weeks before any who may have pre-ordered their home country's version. And I say this as someone who has been playing the game since before even the Japanese launch. Namco's decision is total fucking bullshit. Of all games to stagger release dates for, a Souls game stands out as something you just should never do that for. This goes beyond the mere envy and bitterness that tinges some of the more ridiculous Steam forum posts. This is about what Dark Souls is as a game series, and why the lack of a worldwide release date thoroughly undermines a big part of what the series fanbase loves about it. Souls games uniquely lend themselves to surprises and shocks. The emergence of some horrifying boss creature, the discovery of new areas with their own deadly traps and monstrous guardians, the uncovering of precious loot and eccentric NPC characters. While most games benefit from its players avoiding spoilers, Dark Souls is especially designed to entertain those who don't know what's around the corner. The creeping fear of just not knowing what's behind a big set of double doors, just what this gigantic emerging abomination is going to do to you when it attacks, just whether or not that pitfall leads to death or treasure, the overloading saturation of live streams coming out of the game, not to mention the chance for spoilers and images from the tons of people playing early, absolutely goes against a core philosophy evident in Dark Souls' design. Similarly, the game's unique online elements aren't as much fun when you're not feeling like you're all discovering things together. While obviously this becomes less important the older the game gets, the first week or so of a Souls game is especially fun as players are suffering together, seeing online spectres of each other fighting through the same areas, leaving notes on the ground as they discover things ahead of others, and naturally having an easier time finding similarly leveled players for co-op and PvP. With not just days, but weeks ahead of the rest of the world, Japanese players and quote-unquote importers leave their comrades in the dust. The online portions of the game are undoubtedly at their very best in the early stages, with everyone experiencing the game in the moment. Dribs and drabs just diminish that unique launch day element. On the one hand, I can get the more cynical reasons for why Namco's done things the way it has. I mean, brewing jealousy among a huge section of the world is certainly one way to build hype, even if it comes with a huge helping of enmity on the side. While the world of live streams has always been very, very good to the Souls series, and it makes sense to court the big cheeses on Twitch as early as possible. Then again, in a world where even Nintendo started to get some worldwide release dates for big titles like Pokemon, it's thoroughly fucked that Namco's done it this way, drenching the internet with spoiler material, oversaturating people's exposure to the game weeks ahead of release, and flying in the face of experiences that are almost entirely particular to the Souls launch day atmosphere. Not to mention, have you seen Souls fans? They're fucking terrifying, some of these balmy bastards. Now, I found myself as a drooling obsessive lover of the Soulsborne games. Demon's Souls is a game that has an immensely special place in my heart, and I become utterly mesmerized by each new From Software release when I play it, unable to think about anything else. There is a devoted fanaticism that can come come with being a fan of the series, and its whole get good community motto has only encouraged further extremes of zealousy. This has its beautiful sides, this devotion, and it has a pretty ugly side too. For good or ill, however, there's no denying that Souls fans are very particular, very passionate, and incredibly easy to piss off. Some of the complaints about the situation are so overwrought as to be cringe-inducing, and those pledging to metabomb and otherwise have only negative things to say or do with the game are shooting themselves in the foot. But through the melodrama and gibberish, there are legitimate complaints and very genuine frustration from a group that doesn't understand why Namco's done them like this. It's hard not to at least empathise with that confusion. We're in a global fucking market now. The idea of some countries getting things first has been eroding for years, to the point where any game worth a shit is almost entirely guaranteed a worldwide release date. The staggered dates for Dark Souls 3 is regressive, and to those of us left without explanation, it's utterly pointless, while the scads of gameplay content that is popping up literally everywhere can only be rubbing salt in the wound. And the game's done, you know? If you don't mind playing the inferior Xbox One version, you can get your hands on a 100% full English language copy today. Yeah, Namco says it's unfinished, but they just have to put the patch out and bing bang boom, you've got it. It kind of makes it especially ludicrous for reviewers, since any of them who received a review copy from PR people had to agree to an embargo that ain't nobody else gotta follow. There may be reasons beyond Bandai's control for the Japanese version coming out ahead of the rest of the world, but having gotten so used to seeing worldwide releases for everything, I can't imagine what satisfying excuse the company could come up with, especially not when the most popular theory includes Namco doing it just to cynically make sure it has a sales boost before the end of Japan's fiscal year. Either way, it's a shite situation that does not only a disservice to the game's audience, but to the game itself. Still though, maybe tone down the rhetoric, fans. Some of you are really making yourself look like idiots. Some of you may know I do a weekly podcast called The Podquisition. It's the Jimquisition official podcast with Miracle Sound and Laura K. Buzz. And I got a question following last week's episode where we did talk about Dark Souls 3 that, well, it asked, is this going to be the start of weeks and weeks of you talking about Dark Souls endlessly and endlessly like you did with Bloodborne? Yes! Yes, actually, the answer to that question is yes. I'm going to be talking about Dark Souls constantly, annoyingly, to the point where you want to gouge your eyeballs out. And if you can't handle that, because Dark Souls is one of the best series of all time, and you can shove it up your piss hole if you disagree, right? If you've got a problem with that, if you can't hang with this, then I've got one fucking phrase for you. Get good. That's how we dodge all criticism, isn't it? Get good, okay? And thank good for me.